Will democracy survive in the next couple of years?
And essentially, we are the same.
Can't have government choosing winners or losers.
There are so many needs that Minnesota has.
What people are saying they need right now.
Access to Democracy is made possible in part by a donation from Firefly Credit Union. Firefly is the new name of U.S. Federal Credit Union, which has proudly served the financial needs of the greater Twin Cities community since 1925. At Firefly, we guide our members forward and give them the power to chase dreams by delivering the financial solutions they need to get ahead. From checking accounts to mortgages, we'll light the way. We are Firefly Credit Union, and this is life illuminated. And Dr. Charles Crutchfield of award-winning Crutchfield Dermatology in Eagan. Acknowledged as one of the nation's best physicians, a Minnesota native who trained at the Mayo Clinic, Dr. Crutchfield personally treats all patients and states that experience counts and quality matters. Crutchfield Dermatology, look good, feel great, with beautiful skin.
Welcome. Access to Democracy returns. Another of our political interviews. This one a little bit different. We have with us someone who we don't know as Patti Anderson. We know her for years as Pat Anderson.
Yeah.
And Pat is running for 38B, District 38B, legislative position. Mm-hmm. Pat Anderson, well, I first met her when she was mayor of Eagan. Mm-hmm. She ultimately, previous to that, she had been a Minnesota State Auditor. Subsequently to that, she became the Republican State...
I was a commissioner, too.
Committeewoman, and you were a commissioner, mm-hmm. right?
Yeah.
And now, why are you running...
And then I went back into business, which is what I was doing when I was in Eagan, you know, when I was council and mayor.
Well, we'll talk about your businesses because you have multiple, since you become a tycoon. But why did you decide
to run
for a legislative position this year?
I said I'd never run for the legislature. As you know, I got remarried about 11 years ago. I moved to Dellwood. I'm originally from Forest Lake, so it's actually a little close to my parents who are getting older too. And our current state rep is Matt Dean, and he just decided to hang it up. So he's retiring. They were looking for a candidate. Approached me because obviously this is a big year. We have to hold the House. It's important that we have good candidates. But and I was frankly watching what was going on in politics. You know, still dabbling, but more as an activist or a helper or a fundraiser. And I was a little, I was alarmed at what I saw going on out there. And socialism. That's what's
Socialism.
happening. Yeah, and it was enough to just push me over the edge. And I said, yeah, I'm going to do it.
It's a buzzword, but it doesn't really work.
It does. My youngest daughter right now is in Buenos Aires. She's on a study abroad in Argentina. And they have 20% inflation. It's nothing like what's going on in Venezuela, but she has watched over 3-4 months the economy just tank, absolutely tank in that city. And Venezuela is right next to it. And so it's been a good little lesson for a girl who was flirting with Bernie last time. So no more.
Well, she'll probably flirt with Bernie again.
We'll see.
In 2 years from now.
Yeah.
We'll see. So Matt Dean stepped out.
Yep.
They asked you to run.
They did. No, I had it contested. There were other candidates already run. We actually had an endorsement battle, and there were the 3 candidates in, but the district was looking for someone else, or the majority of the district, and so that's where I got recruited, and then I won the endorsement.
Where did Pat become Patty?
Pat became Patty. People call me Patty too. My father calls me Patty. Some old friends when I was younger, but to be very honest, people said you've got to be a girl.
The Eagan world.
You got to be a girl.
The Eagan world never called you Patty.
No, they called me Pat.
In all the years we know you.
Yeah.
And that you were here.
Yeah. So it's a girl thing.
And we have rarely agreed politically on anything except maybe the weather. But so you decided to run. Your opponent is who?
Her name is Amy Wozniak. She ran last time against Matt. Matt beat her by about 14 points. So she just thought she'd do it again. I don't think she realized it would be an open seat. She just has kind of continually run since the last election. She's a very liberal young woman, about 30 years old.
Have you had any debates?
We had one debate, League of Women Voters, about a month ago.
And,
We actually agreed, ironically, on some issues.
well, that doesn't surprise
yeah,
me, really,
yeah.
because you were never a traditional Republican.
Yeah, I don't
You-
follow
you
the
were-
exact script, I guess.
You were
that you're-
pretty much a radical. It's so
Wow.
different from the city of Eagan, where people bury their political affiliations when they're running city government,
Yeah,
and which is why probably Eagan has done so well, starting way back with you,
yeah.
and
before.
and
yeah, yeah.
and
Good
it's,
council members, good mayors. Tom Eagan, I thought, was a
And-
great mayor.
It's become even better today with the new Commons, where you have one of your
I have a business there.
a half
yeah.
dozen businesses. Might as well give it a plug.
Well, I own several of the European wax centers in the Twin Cities, and that I own the one in Eagan. And I was excited. I waited for that site for years. I was waiting. I knew it was going to develop, in there. And it isn't just that it's a great site. There's also some, I don't know what the word is, but
In fact, the
the Central
last
Park.
time-
We got,
yeah.
there was
We have the
meant
Vikings here.
something to
We
me.
have the Vikings here now.
the Vikings.
and,
I've been to the facility. Incredible. With the
it is an
council and
incredible
what's-
facility.
Yeah, what's
and,
been happening in Eagan is just fantastic. Yeah.
And the last
the mayor and
time you were
council credit.
scheduled to come on the show, and you had a business emergency at the last minute
did.
at one of the wax centers.
I had
a lady's legs caught fire.
No, I had an HVAC that started on fire in one of my stores, or sparked, and yeah.
I like my take. The
Yeah,
better,
no, it wasn't that. Sorry.
So what do you see this year as the biggest challenges? Obviously, we have all four
Yeah.
constitutional offices are up,
Brand new leadership.
and the entire legislature is running again.
No, not the Senate.
No,
Just the
I
one-
meant
the
to
one
say
seat
the
in the
House,
Senate.
The
Yeah,
House, yeah,
yeah.
and the one seat which actually can turn
Correct.
control of
Yeah.
the Senate depending on how it goes.
Yeah.
And then the House, which has been Republican for the last couple
And I
of
think
years.
it'll stay. The House, the Democrats would have to change, I think, 11 or 12 seats to get the majority in the House. And I don't, everything I know, and we're right now 2 weeks out from the election.
Don't you feel the blue wave coming?
No, I don't.
You're
I
looking over your
don't. And I
shoulder?
felt it before. I felt it in 06, when we all lost. And I really don't. I think there's a little bit, there's more excitement on the left than, and I don't mean just regular, I'm talking about the left, than there has been in the past. But the Republicans are equally jazzed to vote. I think you're going to have higher turnout than normal.
Well,
for a midterm,
we always
but-
have the best turnout in the country here, and I suspect that this year it's going to be better also.
yeah, I agree with you.
suspect over
Yeah.
80% turnout, and which would be incredible
Yeah,
in
yeah.
an off-year election.
Yeah.
But it's not an off-year election when you have your governor and your attorney general and the auditor, which is an
Yeah,
office that
yeah.
you held,
And that's open right now.
and
Yeah.
as well
Yeah.
as the Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Who,
So I do think that people are excited on both sides. I think for a long time it was just the Democrat side, and now it's been both since really the Kavanaugh hearings and the protesting that's been going on. And I think that has ginned up the Republican. I mean, I'm door knocking again. I haven't door knocked since I was, running for mayor and council in Eagan. And I've been talking to people for months at
Well,
the
I
doors.
understand
and-
that the tenor of the campaign that you and your opponent are running has been unlike many of the campaigns around here, which really, really have denigrated how campaigning is. Yours has pretty much been above board. There haven't been a lot of insults flying back and forth.
No, not
And,
between us. No,
yeah.
no.
Like,
you know, she's a
like
nice
it
gal.
should, like it should be,
She's-
like
yeah,
it used
yeah,
to be. Yeah.
yeah. She's, you know, so no, now there have been some independent expenditures in, mostly on our side, that haven't always been nice, but nothing like what you're seeing. You know,
No,
in
here
this-
we've
no,
had some
no,
really
nothing like
rough
that,
stuff here.
No.
So
And
what do-
it's
what do you-
generally a Republican district, or I mean, it has been, well, forever, but even Trump won the district. Not by much, though. We won by like 2 points, that's it.
What do you see
No.
as the challenges in the legislature this year, though? I mean,
Well-
something compelled you to run, and
It did, you know,
you obviously had to take on some other people who wanted the position. You had to beat them,
yeah.
and you know,
Now I got to win the general.
had we talked a year ago, I would have never imagined that you were going to run for a legislative office, and I don't think you would have a year ago.
No, I
So-
wouldn't have, no.
So what is it? What is the thing that put the bug back in?
I see a very changed Democrat Party, and I get along with liberals. I get along with, you know, traditional Union Democrats, many of whom are now Republicans, by the way. But I see
That's
this
okay.
sort
'Cause
of,
many Republicans are now Democrats.
well, you
so
know, but I
it's,
see this very progressive element that's come in, and there are things, especially economic issues, that I just absolutely am opposed to, and everything from socialized medicine to, you know, the $15 minimum wage things. I mean, all these things, they don't make sense, and you have a battle that's gone on in the Democrat Party, kind of like what
I
happened
think-
with the Tea Party a little
I
bit
think
in
that
2010.
somebody who
But-
spends $20 a day to board her dog can't appreciate the fact that other people need $15 an hour to exist, to
Okay,
live.
but that's a minimum wage. Jobs are not supposed to be, not every job is supposed to be a livable job. And it just doesn't work. You cannot dictate, you know, things like wages and stuff like that.
mean,
People will be, McDonald's is already doing it. They're going to automate everything.
Have
Because you have to
seen-
be able to function as a
Have you
business.
seen some of the tent cities that have sprung up in the Twin Cities?
Absolutely.
And
It's-
to me, it's horrifying. It's frightening. That
To me,
we
it's
have to-
horrifying that they've allowed that to happen. And they have.
And to me, it's horrifying.
And they're doing the same thing in San Francisco. literally letting
that it's
all that happen.
necessary for people to have to stoop to living in a tent city because they can't make it otherwise. And
People
you know,
are leaving where they live and they're coming in. This is like I don't want to debate the tent city thing because we just absolutely don't agree on that. But it's just like what's happening in
everything
San
we-
Francisco. It's,
everything we're going to pick
you know,
on, we probably
well,
don't agree on.
yeah, we can agree on a few things. But I don't. That is the council. Have you seen what's happening at the Minneapolis council meetings? Even the Star Tribune wrote a big story on it.
Yeah,
that
but-
they have deteriorated into shouting matches, and that's the point of what
Well-
motivated me to do this. There's this new
You
thing
know,
out there.
there is an
that's-
element in both parties, and
Mm-hmm.
traditional Democrats are really fighting the people who have risen in the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
talking
traditional
about.
Republicans are fighting the right wing, which has really taken a foothold in the last 2 years.
That occurred in
And,
20. No, not now. You think
I mean,
Trump's
people
right
like-
wing? You're out of your mind. Trump's
people-
not, you
people
know?
like
But this happened in.
Arnie Carlson would not be a Republican
Arnie
today.
Carlson hasn't been a Republican for a decade,
And-
openly. But I think you could equate it somewhat to what happened in 2010 when you had several very right-wing, whatever it's called, Tea Party candidates, and I was part of the Tea Party. But you know, remember the witch lady, and remember all these crazies.
Well, you used to call yourself a libertarian.
Yeah, and I still am. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But I think you had some of that happen for a while in 2010, and it was sort of the uprising against Obama. If you remember, in 2010, Obama's numbers were worse than Trump's are now. But, you know, shockingly, but they were worse than what
As history
Trump-
looks back.
Yeah, I mean, it's
From
a
the president,
similar
from the
thing.
president that we have now to Obama, history's going to say, "Oh my God."
Well, we'll see. Economy's doing great. Doing great.
For some people,
For
some people.
everybody, unemployment's at a low.
The
ever.
market is doing great. Doesn't help a lot of people.
Unemployment,
Wages-
black unemployment is at an all-time
wages-
low, 50-year low, I think. Ever.
Wages which you don't think should be at a
I don't think you
minimum
can
of
dictate
15.
wages like that. You can't do that. Yeah.
Nobody should be so. As I said, if you can afford $20 a day to board your dog, you have trouble relating to $15 an hour for somebody who's driving to live and pay rent and meet car payments and pay gas prices, which are going up, although in the last week they've gone down a little bit. And you can't do it
Alan,
on
you can-
$15 an hour. You want to have 3 jobs maybe
But
and
Alan,
kill yourself?
we're talking about a minimum wage, okay? Minimum wages are almost always for kids. They are for people with no job skills. That is a minimum wage. It's not the idea of turning a minimum wage into a living wage is insane, and it won't work. It's not working where they're ahead of us and they're doing that in other places. It's just not going to work. It's going to turn us. Unemployment's going to shoot through the roof, and it's going to harm the same people.
I don't think
Because people
so.
are not going to hire a 15-year-old kid for their first job. That you
But
can't
look at
do
the farmers.
that.
Look at the
You can't do
farmers in
it.
this state
Yeah.
who are really being hurt by the tariffs. Soybeans, the value of soybeans has gone down, I think $1 a bushel from what they were last year. And why? Because of tariffs. We were a free trade person. So
Well, that's why you made a comment about
and-
Trump being Donald Trump is not a typical Republican.
Donald Trump
on
is-
political issues.
is not a
He's just
typical
not.
human being.
Well,
we can
okay.
start there.
Alan, all right.
It's,
So, but he's not. It
He's
isn't
an,
the.
he's an embarrassment
It's
to
a
the world.
different. It is. Okay, I don't want to go there.
I can understand
No,
why.
I don't want to get in a fight with you about that. But it is a different party, and it's true though. I think that he's realigning the party somewhat.
Oh,
I think
he
that's
has.
true. Yeah.
has.
But it isn't aligning
It's
to
kind
the
of
far right at all.
It's kind of frightening
It's realigning almost into
to see all
a
those
national,
white
more,
faces
you know.
behind him at his rallies, screaming stupid things like "lock her up," no matter what woman he mentions, things like that. But you don't want to go
I
there.
was I was an anybody but Clinton person. So, and I absolutely think we should have locked her up. She was
Well,
crooked.
She was crooked.
She was.
She
and
could,
Bill, I mean,
she could
just-
have sainthood, and I was a Bernie supporter,
I know
as you
you
know.
were. I know. Yeah.
She could have sainthood compared to this bunch of Alibaba and the 40 thieves that are running the White House
All right.
in the
Let's
country
talk
right
about
now.
something else.
Okay,
right.
the state of Minnesota.
State of Minnesota. So no matter who wins, I mean, first of all, the way it looks right now is you're probably going to have Walz win the governor's race, and my guess is that you'd
And
have.
he's pretty much a centrist.
Well, he used to be. He's running as a liberal right now,
But he is pretty much
but
a centrist.
he used to be more centrist. So I don't know what's going on there, but you're going to have a similar situation to what happened with Dayton. So you're going to have the Republican control legislature and a new governor, probably.
You
And
really believe that?
believe what?
That the Republicans are going to keep the legislature?
Absolutely. Yeah, I do. Yep, absolutely.
Well,
yeah.
it'll be interesting. We'll have to have you back right after the
All right,
election.
all right.
And
All right. But no matter what happens, we have to do tax reform. We have to comply. We have to change our tax code to match the federal tax code, or everybody is going to be penalized.
And of course,
And the governor vetoed
the
that bill.
disaster of the federal tax code, which really helped corporate. I understand why you became a corporate owner, because if you're going to
I
own
don't own
corporations,
I don't own a C corp, so
Now-
no, that's not true.
now would be the
That's
time
not
to
true.
be in a
That's not true.
corporation.
But the economy is booming, by the way. Booming
For
for
some
everybody.
people.
Unemployment's
I-
like 2%, isn't it? It hasn't been this low
I don't
almost
think
in my lifetime.
I actually think it's closer to 4, but or 3.5. But be that as it may,
I'll take 3.5.
Obama did such a great job in setting this up that Trump just had to walk in and take the credit for it.
Oh,
And,
well, okay. Well, I
it,
don't agree. But You can give Obama some credit for some things. So, but he wasn't awful economically, besides his big spending stuff, which they wasted all that money. Okay, so no matter what, you got to deal with that. You've got to deal with the IMCHA, the whole health care issue. 2 years ago, they went back to what we had before Obamacare, and they put the health care into people that had pre-existing conditions, not a employer-sponsored plan, heavy health care costs. They put them into a pool.
Do you
and we
think
subsidize
that
it, and it's
everybody
working
should have
again.
health care?
Do I think they should have it?
Do you think that there are
Yes.
certain minimums that government should supply to people? Health care,
I don't think.
public safety,
I don't put health care in that.
how
I
about
think
environment?
I think that government, we've talked about this, government to me needs to build an infrastructure. They need to be there to do the things that have to be done as a whole, which would include public safety. It would include roads and bridges, transportation networks. It would include environment,
about
obviously,
education?
water. It would include those. Right, Minnesota in our own constitution, we're required to provide education. So yes, absolutely. That's all within that.
What about
But
free college? Do you go that far? Or
No.
at least everybody should get at least 2 years?
No, but I think that there are ways to do things, especially through the community college system, like we started with. My kids did it. They took PSEO classes where they're getting college credit. That's been put into place. I think we need to have more of that, along with a better pathway into the technical colleges, where that senior year in high
I
school,
agree
you're
with-
doing the technical
like
college. So
our-
there's ways to do
Our
this.
candidate for Congress right here, her oldest son, Angie Craig's oldest son, is in technical school right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And that's a plus. That's
Yeah,
for things
absolutely,
like
absolutely. You can hardly find an electrician or
that.
plumber
What
right now.
about what
And
about private public education?
see, I don't
Betsy
think.
DeVos would do away with public education
Well,
if
I
she
don't know.
could. And
I don't know if she would or
then
not,
we would
but-
have another Trump university where the students pay $50,000
Yeah, I don't know
and
if
get
she would or
screwed
not.
into the ground.
But I believe in competition in everything, and except I don't want competition with my cops and that sort of thing, right? So
No,
those
not
basic
with your
things.
police.
Yeah, but I believe in competition in education, and I think that helps everyone. It always has. It's helped, and that's part of the problem, frankly, with healthcare, is that we don't have any sort of market mechanisms within healthcare. I mean, I go back and talk
Well,
about
if
the
you would
LASIK
take-
eye surgery, how that's gotten cheaper,
If you would
cheaper, and
take
better.
insurance
'Cause we don't-
companies out of healthcare and just devote it to healthcare,
It would-
it would be
It would be,
what the rest of the world has been doing for decades.
and they're waiting forever for things, and people buy
That's
supplemental.
a shibboleth that doesn't
It's
work.
true,
Even
though, but-
Canadians, and
but-
I've spoken to several recently.
But people are buying supplemental plans, so they're getting this sort of basic level of things, and then the people that are buying supplemental plans on top, they're buying private insurance on top of that.
Having had a tough physical year, this 2018, if I remember it for nothing else, other than
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
fighting with you, it will be it will be the wonders of healthcare and what
Yeah.
it did for me. If we had a Mayo Clinic every place,
Yeah. Yeah, they're amazing.
and they are beyond amazing.
Yeah,
They are just
Yep.
they are just marvelous. I
Yep.
can't say enough about the Mayo Clinic. And
In our healthcare system, I mean, we have to. It's a huge issue. But one positive you can say that's come out of it is we have the best healthcare in the world.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely do. We absolutely do.
We
And
pay
it's because it's not run by
pay
government.
twice as much because of the fact
Okay?
that it's
But it's not run by
insurance company.
government.
Well,
It's not.
Medicare.
The entire hospital
Medicaid?
system. It's the
Where
same.
they have 2%
It's-
administrative costs as opposed to 27% administrative costs with an insurance company-run program.
That turns into socialized medicine, and you know that. That is just the opening. Oh, Minnesota Care buying these little things. That's the absolute opening into socialized
It's not the
medicine.
name that's important to me. It's what the program accomplishes.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I saw a real value in public school education, which I benefited from,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to private school education, where I just see so many students getting ripped off and not getting what they should be getting.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would say something. But the titles that we put on it, and I know
Mm-hmm.
socialism is one of your favorites, but
Yeah,
you know,
but it is socialism.
but
I mean, that people are
fascism
openly
is
about
one
it.
of mine. You know.
Yeah. Now, talk about fascism. Fascism is when government controls, things, not directly like socialism, but they control things. And that is what the left is starting to espouse.
No, I think
not
I
the
think
right.
that's what Trump would like to do.
I don't
But
think so.
I don't think
Yeah.
here in Minnesota we are lucky. Number one, because we have a good education
We do.
system.
Yeah.
We have a good healthcare system. It could be better. We are starting to recognize the need of people to get a decent wage and have a right to.
We have one of the
live.
highest state minimum wages in the country.
That's right.
$9.65. It's not $15 an hour.
And
It's $9.65.
Well-
whatever it is, $9.75.
well, you're paying most of your people $9.65, but
I don't know what it is. That
you have a
but
different
that's-
operation though.
yeah.
Because you have to give
My-
bonuses to, not bonuses, but you have to give a percentage to your
my
operators
staff
and things like that.
does
And,
very well. Yeah.
uh,
So, but talk up to the person that's running a Subway, or trying to run a McDonald's, or trying to, fast food. How are they? It's
Well,
just not.
if we would bring some of the
feasible.
immigrants that used to do that back into the system instead of throwing
have
them
to-
out of the country.
And then you're gonna what? Pay them not $15 an hour? How are you gonna justify that?
It's an entirely
Your argument
different
doesn't work.
situation. No.
Yeah.
Speaking of immigrants, what do you think of separating children from their families, which has been going on
Since Obama.
for a year
Since
now?
Obama, it's been going on.
But it's really been perfected.
No, it isn't any different. It's just that it's
Under
it's
this,
the Republican side
Herr
now.
Trump.
And there's more of them, I think. But it started under Obama.
What do you think
The
of
reason that
separating
happened,
a
I don't
child
think
from parents?
I do not think that people. I absolutely am opposed to illegal immigration, but I also think we need to fix our immigration system because we should allow immigrants, but they should be coming in here.
We are all
legally,
immigrants.
right? But that's not what's going on.
I mean, I'm
I'm
the
an-
child of immigrants.
Yeah.
You're the child
Yeah.
of immigrants.
Yeah, great grandparents. But yeah, I support immigration. But it's got to be done legally, and that's the difference, and that's the argument, and always has been. I don't
Well,
think
the problem
Republicans are
is-
opposed to immigration. Any of them that I talk to,
You could
but
have
they are
you
very
could have
much
fooled me.
very much opposed to illegal immigration. We have to have. This is a country of rules and laws, and we have to enforce our rules and laws.
Would that we did.
Then that's part of the problem. And Congress is a disaster. You can't.
Well, it's Republican
It's
control
been
Congress.
no matter which
And
party
we
controls
have
it.
12 seconds left, so
Okay,
we just blew this whole interview.
we got to do it again.
Pat Anderson,
Fun to
32B,
come. Yeah,
always
hope to be up there.
a good time. We'll see you soon.
All right.